Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Overwatch Route 66 Cup. I'm LD. I'm joined here by ZP. And of course, this all brought to you by Mr. FYM Hot Sauce. Thanks to them for making it possible. We do have our third from final match coming up, ZP. It's Immortals taking on Rise Nation, who's made quite a run to get here from the lower bracket.
Rise Nation has been one of the big stars from new teams coming up here, NNA, and they're going to be going up against Immortals, where Immortals also in that same boat. Immortals, of course, of the two, a little bit more experienced. Immortals did get that experience going down to E-League back earlier in the year. But really going into this, I'd say even if I favor Immortals a little bit, Rise Nation, you take a look at players like Xrenzy, like Spirit, and also just their tank and support core, they can definitely pose a threat here. So if they were able to turn this around and actually beat Immortals, I don't think I'd be that surprised.
All right, well, the teams have assembled their heroes, and onto the map they do go. Agility's going to be playing the Reaper. We've seen a lot of his Roadhog, but not going to start off with that on the control point map. The Wolf taking the Tracer. So these will be the attackers here for your Immortal squad. Meanwhile, Xrenzy had a huge game earlier today. We saw him on the McCree. What's he going to be able to do this
It is
time?
worth knowing here for Immortals that they do have a different sub in today. It's going to be Wolf subbing in for Grim Reality, so missing Grim Reality is definitely a rough thing for Immortals, but Agilities was able to carry some of the slack yesterday. We'll see if he's able to do it today. Grim Reality, for those who are wondering, is sick, so give him your energy.
On the Tracer, nearly brought down by a Fire Strike, and recall that off and continue forward. We do see some ultimates about to come out as both tanks getting dangerously close there. Nomi has the Earthshatter. He gets bubbled right as he's charged. Can he get off the Earthshatter? Stun going in with the Fire Strike. Doesn't get on the point in time. Already capped for the side of Rise Nation.
Immortals able to take control off of that tank play coming from Nomi. Sets up Agilities for the cleanup. First control going the way of Immortals. And now you take a look at Immortals too. Very advantageous fights for them in terms of resources, so they should be able to chain in another victory here if they play things right. But right after that, I expect to see Rise Nation just strike right back.
Yeah, they basically have the Zarya ult. Combine that with the Wolf. Pulse Bomb could be devastating already, though. The Reaper of Spirit running in deep behind enemy lines. He gets Earth Shattered right as he kills the Reinhardt, so he will be denied for the time being. That is going to free up Agilities in turn. No enemy Reaper to worry about. They will force him back, and now the Nano Boost down the drain.
So for Spirit there, I have only one word, which is ambition. That was very ambitious in terms of going in there. He was so far away from the rest of his team on that Nano Boost. I get it, Nano Boost Reaper is really strong, but that was crazy even by Nano Boost standards on Reaper. Spirit though will have Death Blossom up in this next fight. Tries to get to the backline, but Agility just shuts him down immediately.
Already down quite a bit as far as percentages go here. We see Immortals really starting to take control, extend their advantage. They do have a Death Blossom ready for Agilities. He will back away and a Nano Boost to go with it, so the full Beyblade is assembled. This is going to be tough to push into.
It's going to be very tough to push into. Agility's going to waste part of that with Wraithform, but gets to the back line, looking for the Death Blossom, takes down Block, ends up getting punished, but he's created enough of an opening for Hype to fall through. Not as clean, though, as Mortals would like. Respawn's coming from Rise. They could be turning this.
It is high noon, but Xrenzy not finding anything. He draws unsuccessfully, sees his own team slept in front of him, down to 4 health, has to scramble for the big pack, and while he's doing that, we get to see Wolf charging in and looking for kills. He has the pulse bomb ready, but no! Gets sniped. Xrenzy making the plays here from the high ground. Can he find more onto the point? This could be a big opportunity to take it back.
Xrenzy had some huge plays earlier in the day, looking to go huge once more. Was down to all of 4 HP, and we're like talking about how Overwatch is on that razor's margin. Well, if Xrenzy dies, this fight is very, very different right now for Immortals, but he got away with 4 HP, lived, was able to punish them, but still a very good position for Immortals to be in. They only need one more fight to take this, so every fight super important here for Rise. And for Immortals, they can kind of take their time.
Looks like it might be one lost fight if these ultimates are chained together properly. The Beyblade ready. They've even got an Earthshatter to combo with it. When do they opt to use it? Slowly creeping onto the point. Nomi starts to contest it. Now comes just crushing it. Spirit dropping a bomb all over the side of Immortals. Easy cleanup and a little celebration for the Reaper.
I mean, he can throw in that celebration right now, but I gotta tell you, if I'm on Rise, I'm not really celebrating. Reason is that Immortals didn't throw anything into that fight. They sandbagged it. Now they have 4 ultimates of their own. Sure, Rise still has 3 ults, but I think Immortals is playing this very intelligently. They're going to have 2 more chances at this. They don't even need this one to work out, but they are going to Soundbear. They're throwing all their cards in right now. Xrenzy in the back, looking for that Deadeye. They get at least 1.
Looking for 2. He only gets the 1, but the cleanup comes from Spirit. Finding multiple kills. 4 already down. That's 2 fights won now, and some ultimates were committed there by Immortals. Don't have a whole lot to work with coming into this next fight. The Nano boost down, they will have at least a Graviton into a Blossom.
Now, this is the time to taunt if you're Rise Nation. You're in a way, way better position. Too many ults were used there from Immortals. They're going to come down to one last fight, but it's very even between the two. Spirit's going to have a positioning advantage here if he chooses to use it, so take a look at Spirit and see if he can punish here with his Death Blossom, but Immortals now going to have to win an even fight. They want to take this round.
Agilities at the same time has a Death Blossom of his own, and Hype could potentially set him up. He's almost dead though. Needs to be bubbled and healed up by the Ana, brought back towards safety as Spirit up on the high ground is going to keep him out of the picture. Wolf looking for the Pulse Bomb to combo here with the Zarya ultimate. Not going to come in quite in time. A chaotic fight breaking out, charging forward onto Spirit.
This is looking very, very good right now for Rise. Immortals, though, staying in here. Wolf, the fight is breaking down, able to dart around his Tracer. No one's really on him, so Wolf right now making difference, setting up chance for those 2 kills. Moving in about, it's a nano boosted Tracer. No one can stop her now, as she would say. And it's going to be Wolf opening the door in the very end. Replacement Grim Reality doing very well. We'll see if it's enough.
Well, maybe the only one that could have tried to stop him was another Tracer, but not going to happen. And the last celebration will go the way of Wolf. Takes a seat and going to recharge his battery.
A little bit of taunting going on both sides here, but Immortals kind of lucky to get away with that one in the end, because they really did make a critical mistake in that second to last fight where they got caught really heavily by that Graviton. And they saw all the ultimates coming in from the defense. They had enough time for another push. They would have been so much better off if they just saved everything and just went in for a final fight with an overwhelming advantage. But still, despite that tactical error, they're able to come back in, and it's Wolf just staying alive long enough as Tracer to get in and do some serious damage.
Yeah, Wolf did a lot of work there, and now we get to see Agilities moving on to his Hog. Had an absolute monster performance on the Roadhog yesterday. I think most notably on Ichonwall, we saw him hooking a Reaper. Nano boosted, I jinxed him. I mega jinxed him. The Spirit Bomb rains in. Instantly has his ult to start the map. What a concussive grenade, and all you can do is take your hat off to that. Time for the taunt the other way.
Okay, so when it comes to taunts, the McCree taunt, or the Reaper taunt the other game, not so warranted. That taunt, super warranted. He could taunt twice for that.
That's definitely play of the game regardless
absolutely.
of who wins. I don't think you can top that even with a 6K.
No, the play of the game algorithm really, really loves boops off the edge. So Spirit definitely going to enjoy that replay as it comes in later on. But for now, still a lot of Overwatch to be had here in this game. Spirit, of course, built up an instant barrage from that. He's going to go to the top and just look at Rain Justice over the above. Takes down one immediately.
Yeah, good start for him, and now they can start to clean up here. Agility is one of the few left standing. He is going to get a good dash through, trying to back away and reset. So we'll rejoin the team, getting some good progress towards this Dragon Blade. They will need that for this next fight.
All right, and Rise right now, off of that early strike by Spirit, in an excellent position still. They still have Deadeye and Earthshire up there at the top. They're really pressuring the bridge. They're not giving Immortals any easy entry. And Immortals might have to jump pressure one more time, but they do push through. And now let's see if Wolf can land some shots. Oh my goodness, immediately shut down by X-Retzi.
Agility's trying to follow this up. He is going to get the nano boost working on the enemy McCree. Trying to bring out that blade. Finally manages to pull it out. He's only got 85 health though, but he finds 2. It could be 3. Not even needed. They will recap the point at about 50%.
And I think part of the problem there is that even though McCree is really good at handling Genjis and all the rest, obviously Nano Boost is a big problem. And the other thing too is that X-Retzi was kind of off there on an island by himself, wasn't really able to get supported, and never a great situation to be in when the Genji's on you with the level of support he had there. So Immortals able to make most out of that. They started out a little bit rough, but finished out strong. Now, 22%. See if Rise Nation can turn this back around. All
right, 2 Deadeyes available. They do have a Graviton Surge up on both sides, momentarily hyped very close to it. Both McCrees could be the difference makers here if their Zaryas find a good opening. And there's the first one. Let's see who's going to get the jump here. Wolf does end up going down, and an absolute chaotic fight breaking out as Spirit going to look for the cleanup. He's only at 77 health, but getting healed back up on the point can start to make his move forward. Agility's out of the picture, so this is one Genji who can reign supreme, moving forward and cleaving through the rest of the opposition.
It is worth noting that Agilities did have a nice reflector on X-Retzi, but unfortunately that was about the only nice thing that Immortals had in that fight. You have to be pulling this back here with the sound barrier and Nano Boost. going to be relatively even, actually, between the both teams in terms of ult decisions here. They do have to watch out for the Graviton that could throw them into the pit, though. More dangerous going in on the bridge.
Gonna get it up in that particular fight as Nomi, the man out in front, charging into the middle of the phrase. Meanwhile, Spirit committing, but he gets shut down by a flashbang. Will he even find a kill? Wolf, the stand-in doing work against this Genji, but now the Swim Strike is going to turn it back around the other way.
And that was the case where Spirit was shut down by the Sleep Dart coming in from Python, but still wasn't finished off. Still fight very close back here on the point. Rise able to hold on.
Oh, they got to get on the point right here, right now. Nomi desperately trying to get in, but he's immediately dealt with Wolf, the closest man to it. And in overtime, they will fall short. They even sucked that McCree in. No bunny hop, but to no avail. So now, 1-1.
It's 1-1, but bear in mind the ending of Lijiang Tower, where we saw a critical mistake come out from the side of Immortals in terms of ult usage. It could very well be 0-2 right now in favor of Rise. So Immortals definitely dealing with a little bit of sloppiness. Of course, they are dealing with the stand-in as well. I mean, Wolf is a great player, don't get me wrong. He's been sort of doing the Overwatch carousel. He's been on one team 1 week, another team another week. Very much going back and forth. I was playing Kingdom just the other night. But it's never great when you're playing without one of your star DPS players. Even if you get another great player and someone like Wolf, making the adjustment team comms-wise is always a little bit rough.
And if you don't know exactly, if your Zarya doesn't know exactly when you want to go in, you don't get the shield on time, even if your individual mechanics are equally sound, may not matter to Spirit. A bit of a midget teleport there, but they will continue surging forward. We'll keep an eye now on him to see what he can get done. They're both working towards the middle of the courtyard for now. Who's going to get that opening pick? That's the big question.
Right now, Spirit getting poked down pretty heavily. That's kind of what Immortals taking more aggressive postures here. Anytime you take a star DPS and push it back. And that's why you look at Immortals now. They're more on the point. Rise has to fully back out. So Immortals might get first cap here with that winning fight. Oh my goodness! Red like a book! Nomi taking down Spirit with the charge of a lifetime.
He's already got an Earth Shatter, and he is going to be able to use it here as they come in one by one if needed. No, Locke just says, screw it, man. That Reinhardt's too good. I'm out of here, mate. Jumping off the map. Midnight's going to be next. That prediction chart, though, absolutely incredible stuff.
That was one of the cleanest, most fight-winning charges I've seen in a long time. And not only just taking out anyone, taking it down Spirit on the Reaper. Just beautiful stuff from Nomi.
Nano boost up on both teams, but otherwise ult advantage is going to be going the way of Immortals. Charge through, directly through the heart of a Graviton Surge. He's not even going to need to use the Earth Shatter, as they'll clean up another. Very disciplined here with their ultimate usage. They've still got 4 available, including a Beyblade. Oh, they might lose multiple fights here, and already down 43% ZP. I don't know if Rise Nation can really afford that.
For Rise, I think this is the time where if they knew what we knew right now, they would need to go for a Junk Rush. Agility's coming in from the top. Nano boosts out, dives into the room, makes it a party, sets up for 2 quick kills. Nomi and Hype getting the credit, but it's Agility's that set them up. They're going to be pushing stuff back, but this is actually pretty good here for Rise. Some key ultimates are down, and now they're going to have a better chance as they try and push out for their next push.
Yeah, they do have their own Zarya ult available. Can bring this one back the other way. Midnight looking for the Graviton Surge. Sweeping around to the right and going for the backstab. He's got a decent opportunity. He's going to let it go, and now Spirit can look to follow this one up, but no, he gets kept out of the fight. The charge forward, and meanwhile, Agility's just waiting for this to wear off. Looks like not going to be able to hold, though. He's the last man standing. He will be going down. And he won't let them get any charge. Nope,
he goes
Baz is going to take him anyway.
He was trying to go out on his own terms, but Lucio had other plans. So, still though, a very excellent opening here by Immortals. And now here's the thing for them, just given that they had a mistake back on round 1, they don't have to feel super pressured here, LD. They can build up a full complement of ultimates. They can use some junk rushes, and they should be able to take a fight that's very much in their favor if they play this right.
Agilities do get out with Spirit, who's quite low, but Faz there to protect him, heal him back up so far. 3 down for the Immortals. As they move in, they are going to at least get this trade on the enemy Reaper. Might take the wheels off of this push, but they are going to have to reset. Still, though, plenty of time, about 60% they have as an advantage.
Lots of time here for Immortals, and again, I think for them, they just save on to this. Wait for a nano boost, wait for something big to get used. Although right now, actually, they have enough advantage where they could go in. I don't know if they realize they have this advantage, but if they used everything right now, they probably would be able to take this fight. barring an early pickup, and Agility's looking to go pretty deep. Nanoboost is in, so's Death Blossom, grabs one immediately. Spirit is already out of this fight, goes back the other way. See if Agility's able to get out, but so far it's 2-0 in favor of the offense, and Immortals doing quite well.
Yeah, X-Red-C didn't really have a great opening there for the Deadeye. That Reaper just too tough to bring down. So the point will be reclaimed, and they are low on time. They're going to have to rush to get back here. They don't even have a Dragon Blade for this. I don't even think McCree will get there. So Spirit, he slept. Does anyone get back? Athan is just there to slap him down at the end, and with the Graviton to follow this up, they won't sniff it. That's a clean hold at 90%. Really clutch sleep dart there.
Absolutely, and at this point it's almost becoming routine that we just see Anas come out with great darts, at least on some of these higher end teams. Alright, so 2-1 in favor of Immortals. Rise Nation now, back's going to be against the wall every round now, a do or die proposition. They don't want to go down one map in the series, and we are heading back here to the Garden.
Yeah, we are going to see no Reapers out. Much more in terms of options as far as the outdoors, a bit of a more wide open map aside from the central tower, so at least for now. Okay, Agilities, scratch that. He is going to swap over to the Hog. He's had some big performances here. Can he do it again? And actually the full dive comp is brought out by Rise Nation. They're looking to mix things up. They got to win 2 in a row to force this to a next map.
Alrighty, so gonna see Immortals taking the side route right now, focusing on top point. Hook comes in from Agilities, ends up hooking in a big one though. Winston, not to be deterred, able to get out. It's another distraction. It's gonna be Rise with first 2 kills. Next Retzi now, good HP, gonna be looking for more, going around the flank. And this is really good, but Wolf, being the hero, pops off with 3! Oh my goodness.
Now Tracer's got a lot of heavy lifting to do. Potentially, she does have a pulse bomb. This could be what allows them to hold and turn around this fight. Nomi going to be the man out in front for the time being. He goes to work with the hammer, trying to bring down, swatting away that pesky Lucio. Will finish him off. Now Spirit's going to be backing off.
I feel like anytime you have a Lucio infestation in your walls, recently we've just been seeing Reinhardt with the hammer to take him out. He should probably start his own extermination service at this point.
I'd pay for it. Although I think he takes a bit of the building with him in real life. Just massive holes all over your pretty walls, but I'll get rid of the flies and mosquitoes, that is for damn sure. And speaking of mosquitoes, Xretzi, this mosquito comes packing a bit of extra punch. Could explode all over you if you're not careful. He's going to fish for the pulse bomb. Is he going to find? No, hanging onto it. Patiently, just gunning down the opposition, bringing down the Ana, now moving forward, working on the Zarya. Great play and control there. The tracking excellent. He will clean up the point and take it right back in the red Rise Nation control.
X-Red's just able to carve through there towards the very end. And very close here between both teams. Take a look at what Immortals has going forward. They will have a Graviton of their own. Midnight holding on that Graviton as well. I think if they know that there's Graviton in progress, they should probably not go bridge. Going through bridge is just so annoying when a Graviton can just like outright auto-kill someone by the magic gravity, and they're not going to go through there, but this is still a good area for Graviton. Can pull in 5. So it happens is that Big Bang combo is on the way here for Rise Nation.
Yeah, holding on to it, now looking to move in, looking for the pulse bomb. It comes from behind, lapses back, gets 2. It's going to be 3. Sound barrier committed, but I don't think it'll be a very successful one as they've already lost half their team. Just moving around the Reinhardt, stinging him like a butterfly, and now like a bee. They'll finish him off too. Chance does get a kill of his own, but this is without even getting close to sniffing the point.
Really good stuff coming out there from the defensive Rise. They're looking to angle and force that 5th and final round. For Immortals, time's starting to run out. They do have a bit of an advantage here, but Spirit going to be pretty deadly if he can get into the backline. Doesn't have a nano boost because there's no Ana. But here comes Hype moving in, and the nano boost goes on the Zarya. Don't know if that was intended.
Yeah, Agilities, meanwhile, does have access to the whole hog. Duking out with Locke in the hut. Can he get the job done? Looking for the hook. He's now going to try, but he doesn't want to hit that deflecting Genji. Agility's far away from the point. Time is running out very quickly. He will be cleaned up. This mobile Death Squad just completely outmaneuvering a clunky Immortals lineup, and they will make the swaps now, feeling like they just can't deal with the Genji, Tracer, Winston.
Absolutely not.
But it's far too late.
We're going to that 5th and final round. Rise and Immortals proving very evenly matched here.
I really like that swap to the dive comp. Does not seem like they have the tools to deal with it. Weren't able to find too many Agilities hooks, and then they just got run over, ZP.
In general, I kind of feel like Rise Nation can kind of exploit Immortals a little bit here just by switching up a little bit more frequently. Just for the purpose of the fact that, of course, Wolf doesn't normally play with this Immortals squad. You can take advantage of the fact that Immortals probably keying in on a few more standard compositions here. Just make things a little bit easier for Wolf.
Oh, no Zarya for Rise Nation. Quite unusual on the control point maps. But we are going to see it. They bust out the Zen and looking for some very early kills. Agilities, in fact, is going to be running the Roadhog. But it is triple tag, so it's a pretty good Zen game, potentially, if he's able to find those openings on the Discord.
It's not bad. It's also a little bit strange. I mean, if you're going to run the Zen, why not throw a Genji in with it otherwise? I mean, it's not terrible with Reaper, but I'm not totally in love with what Rise is running here. Immortals, let's run more standard agility. He's going to get that first pick off, bringing Reinhardt in. They don't immediately take him out, though. He's going to survive. And while this is going on, it's Spirit and next Ritzy with the counterplay.
Now looking for a follow-up poke here as they will drive the Immortal squad back. It could be the makings of a comeback. They were down 2-1 and starting to move towards their first cap. Are going to grab it uncontested. It'll be a reset for the blue squad. Immortals now going to have the unenviable task of moving through a very narrow choke point.
Coming in towards the very end from Rise. Different kill here. Immortals moving in. Wolf able to take down Desro off of that hook. 3 kills now here from Immortals moving in. Agility's leading the way. They're just going to take this point.
Yeah, Locke does have his Transcendence, but he's going to have to save it for the retake. Only held it for 20% ZP and didn't quite have any of the big ults, even though they got the points, because we saw a very organized early retreat from Immortals. They didn't feed ults away, and so it was much easier to retake.
All right, both these teams fighting for the chance to get a match against C9 in the lower bracket finals. Right now, big hook, though, coming in from Midnight. Gonna set things up. X-Frenzy able to get the fall through. Down goes Agilities. That hero of Immortals is down. This is looking very good now for Rise Nation.
Desro, is he going to drop the hammer? Yes, sir. He will. Try to deal with Wolf for now. And with the Discord Orb, he's actually forced back, but Desro about to end up falling. No, he gets the hammer off. He's going to live through all this. The point continues to be in red control. And they stay alive as Spirit frantically trying to rejoin this fight. Nope, goes right back to the side of Immortals, but he does have a Death Blossom. Is he going to charge in and use it? He's very low. Not sure he wants to go just yet. Grabbing the big pack quickly, but moving on to a Roadhog with the shield. That is not ideal. He gets hooked by Agilities and dealt with.
Agility's starting to take over this game to some extent and really being the focal point on both ends where Agility's alive. He's able to get pickoffs, keep Immortals in the fight and win. If he dies early because he's getting focused, very difficult. So it's sort of reminding me of what we saw earlier when Tempo was playing and Mangachu, but
they do have a big combo available now, although, as I say that, Chance goes down early, but they're going to commit the Graviton, and now it's going to be up to Agilities, going in with the whole hog, but he's doing it against the mobile comp that just bypasses, and they didn't get as much as they would have liked out of that Graviton. So far an even fight, looking to make it not so even is the Death Blossom, but it's countered immediately. Wolf, the last Reaper standing, now Ana boosted, but dealing with a Zen ultimate, sweeping around the point. He gets gunned down in the butt as X-Retzy takes him out with the hot hand. Very back and forth here, 33 now to 77.
And for Rise Nation, it is now do or die. If they lose one more fight, they very well could be losing this map. They have to be flawless here, LD. Going to the next fight, it's going to be looking pretty good here. You take a look at what Immortals has. They don't have a whole lot. I mean, you still have to be worried about Immortals getting a random pick. They focus on the point, but it's Midnight. Pulling in Agilities, puts him in that rough position. Agilities, though, going to take a breather, going to live for a little bit longer. And then Nomi taking full advantage of the distraction. The tank play of Immortals sweeping right through.
Oh man, hype. What a clutch shield, and then Agilities having confidence in his Zarya immediately with the counter hook, and now it's going to go down to the buzzer. They really have to hoof it to get on this point. Unfortunately, Agilities does find a pickoff, bringing down Spirit, so it's going to be a power play. Only 5 seconds to go. Do they even get on the point? Sweeping in from behind, finding more kills. Wolf there with additional. They get on the point for now, but it's only Spirit left standing, and he won't even make it. In the end, back and forth, a knockdown drag-out brawl, but it is Immortals who sees victory here on our opening map.
Gotta love the tank play coming out from them. Nomi with some really big moments towards the end. But here's the play we were waiting for. We didn't catch it on first-person camera the last time, but sit back, relax, and enjoy the tale of multiple heroes falling off the bridge.
You don't even really get to see any of them going down, but you hear it. That's for damn sure.
You get to see the prediction of Braylon Spears, like, I trust in this.
Use the Force, Spirit. Use the Force. Not often we've seen him on the Pharah, actually. It's been almost exclusively the Reaper and the Genji as of late. But this is only opening map number 1, ZP. Very tightly contested series so far. Heading into the next 2 maps, we will see a payload in both. who do you favor in that? Does that tilt it a little more either direction for you?
It's hard to say. I mean, Rise Nation definitely has explosiveness. I'm super impressed with how X-Retsy and Spirit play, where sometimes they just really take over things, but Immortals definitely feels like they're playing smarter overall. And there's also the team that's been together for longer, even though they do have a sub in right now. Wolf is an experienced sub. I mean, he has a lot of experience in the Overwatch scene. So if we go to payload here, which of course we are on either King's Row or Route 66, part of me wants to favor Immortals a little bit, but I can't entirely count out Rise either. But for me, it's probably looking at Immortals taking this 2-0 to 2-1 based off of the first map.
All right, and whoever wins it, of course, will be moving on with a very tough and probably slightly angry opponent. Cloud9 had a rough one versus FaZe. They came out hot, and they got excited. We saw some BM both ways, but FaZe prevailed in the end. So Cloud9 definitely looking for vengeance and for a rematch with FaZe in the grand finals.
And C9 v FaZe, I mean, that matchup was so incredibly close when we were watching it just a bit ago. I still don't know who I would favor going into the finals. It's a case where there's always a thing with FaZe where people go, oh, FaZe is people playing from Europe, so clearly you favor the U.S. team. They're getting jet-lagged. You can't even do that for FaZe. I've seen so many times where FaZe is playing at around like 7 a.m. their time for players like Shadowburn. They still feels like they get stronger as the day goes on, so I don't even know what to expect there for whoever FaZe might be going up against. But for now, we still have the lower bracket to go through. Immortals versus Rise Nation. Should be pretty close.
Next map going to be Route 66. Waiting on Rise Nation to decide between attack and defense here.
Namesake of the tournament.
Yeah, that's very fitting. It's actually only about 5 minutes drive from our studios here in LA, so very scenic. There's lots of, and it's a long road too. Route 66 goes well through the Southwest United States.
Did you know in a few decades that there's going to be a guy called Earl, and he's going to build big Earls? It's going to be a thing.
I'm sure there's already a. There's surely.
You think there's already a big Earls?
There's
Like,
got to be at least one. Come on.
I mean, in that case, can he sue at this point? Just saying.
Can you copyright Big Earls? I guess you can, maybe. I don't know. That's an interesting question. What if you name your kid Big Earl? Do you get to bypass it that way?
Wait, is he named Earl, or are you actually putting Big in the name?
First name Big, middle name Earl, last name whatever, or maybe last name Earl, first name Big.
Okay, that'd be worthwhile.
There you go.
Just imagine when that kid goes to school, it's just like, do we have Big Earl here? Big Earl.
So Immortals, let's see, what did they? They will be on attack first. Rise Nation assuming the defense. So the teams are going to swap it up real quickly here.
And for Rise Nation on defense, I think what you can expect there is pretty straightforward. Rise, generally speaking, when we watch them, it's not that they've never played it, but they do tend to go more for power compositions where you'll have Spirit and X-Retsy on heavy hitters, stuff like Reaper McCree, Reaper, or sometimes even a Tracer from time to time coming out from X-Retsy. So don't know if we're going to be seeing anything too much on the control side of things, whereas Immortals, much more confident running control setups. You'll see Hyped at times go May. You'll see Agilities switch it up. So I think between the two teams, just thinking about it, you definitely see a little bit more versatility coming out from the Immortal squad, at least when it comes to how they organize their defense.
Yeah, let's see what they look to do on attack. We've seen a lot of unconventional picks, but I guess more so in King's Row. That's been like the map where it's really been open-ended for the offense. We've seen the Junkrats coming out, the Pharah Mercy combos.
That tempo offense on point A was just bizarre.
It was Soldier, Hanzo. Trying to remember what else they had. Did they have a Junkrat Pharah at one point?
I think the tempo's offense was like Junkrat, Pharah, Soldier, and a Widow. They had a Widowmaker as well, so it was just like, wait, you guys are running this? I don't even want to give it that much credit, though, because it didn't work, and then they went to a traditional setup, and they took it on the first attempt, so it was sort of a thinking moment.
All right. Teams are readying up now. Desvero, good to go. Rise Nation need to battle back. They got to take two here, and, if they continue their run through the lower bracket, ZP, it is going to be a very long day for them, as they then would have to play Cloud9, and should they somehow win that, where I'm sure they'll be heavy underdogs, they then move on, and they got to beat FaZe twice. That is a hell of a task, but they'll take it one map at a time here. Teams are ready. Let's go to Route 66.
Route 66 going to be the next map on the way. Our namesake.
I feel like it's only fitting to roll this intro real quick.
Alrighty. That's fitting.
The Mother Road. The Mother of the West.
By the way, guys, apparently there's a few like weird microphone stuff going on right now. We are trying to fix that. I assure you I'm not actually screaming. Sometimes.
That's debatable. There's been some hype moments so far.
No, none of that, but like, we were just talking about big girls, apparently.
I mean,
really,
you
I get
really like big girls. There's nothing wrong with that.
I get really excited about the law, especially when big girls involved.
So we are going to see the attacking side be the Immortals, at least for now. Rise Nation on defense.
It is not the triumph.
Pretty standard composition. They're kind of one flex thing that they do, which is a bit less common. They love this lock Zen, though they are not comboing it with the Genji that we've seen from Spirit. Instead, he starts it off on the Reaper.
And this is about as expected coming out here from Rise, where Rise generally doesn't go for anything too crazy for control stuff, as we were talking about earlier on. Looking at the offense could be pretty standard. I wouldn't expect Nomi to go Widowmaker, because then they would be without a Reinhardt. It'd be really strange. So looking more like triple tank shenanigans coming out from the offense, where it's going to be Agilities and Wolf looking to get those early picks to get the side of Immortals on a good track.
Yeah, Agilities really find the hooks. It's pretty tough to actually connect when everyone's just clustered up on the rooftop. He's going to swing around to the left. See that first peek. Does he get anything? Reinhardt sitting out in front, threatening to pop up the shield any moment, so they'll sneak around to the left. He gets a little shield, he backs away. It's not going to be too easy, at least it doesn't look that way, but the payload slowly moving. When does this defense look to drop it? As I say that, hook number one, going to start it off.
Desro not paying attention to the hog, he gets punished for it immediately, and this is really just going to set the way here for Immortals. Two people already down for Rise Nation, and Rise, to their credit, they immediately back off. They know they're not going to be able to defend this. They're going to wait for the last two and go for that final defense on first. But it's still going to be difficult now because they're positioning really in a rough situation.
All right, we might actually see the second part of this map for the first time this event. Just one more good hook should be enough to clinch it, potentially. Spirit going to be attempting to slow things down here as much as possible. Moving on to the Lucio of Chance for now. Already has lost two teammates. At the same time, brings down a second. Holding strong for the moment, and up on the high ground lurks Agilities, just fishing for a hook. Gonna pop down onto the card for just a moment, but now back underway as X-Red starting to converge onto him. They get the Discord Orb on the hog, and that is gonna quickly shred up the pig, turn him into bacon. We'll end this push, at least for now.
So I kind of like the swap up here for X-Red getting on the Tracer. I think he's just going to ride this one out until he dies, but has the Pulse Bomb at the ready, and he plays a really good Tracer, and it's not the worst on defense.
They have the Big Bang. Are we going to see it?
I think we might. Midnight right now just saying up that Graviton, going to be looking to set up X-Red for that. Just looking for the right opportunity. Wants to grab at least three, but sometimes don't get greedy. But here comes the Graviton. Where's the boom?
Looking forward from behind, lets it go. It's a death boom, but X-Resi from beyond the grave just slaughters three. They explode in a cloud of plasma, and that is going to shut down the push, at least for now.
And there you have it. X-Resi was going to swap after all. Goes to McCree there. He went Tracer just because he needed to get back pretty early. Got picked off early in the early fight. But for Rise Nation, this has been a great defense where it was looking like they might have lost first immediately. They backed off when they needed to. And despite having to go through a rough choke point, brought it right back against Immortals. And for Immortals, they're going to have a few outs here. I mean, they will have the Nano Boost up and ready, but they don't have that much of combo with it. So this is still defendable for Rise.
We do see Agilities now on the Genji. See what kind of opening is available for him. Spirit just waiting this one out, looking for the McCree as soon as this high noon ends. He's going to sneak around. He has the Death Blossom, could potentially land two. He goes down to the low ground though, and that McCree stays up top. He now is going to be in a lot of trouble trying to get the big pack. He'll do it, but does he make it out? Not going to happen. Chance skates all over his grave. That will end his aggression.
And unfortunately for Spirit, that Death Blossom just a little bit off the mark. And this is going to be full cleanup coming in for Immortals. I don't actually know if they need the Graviton there. I mean, it helped get rid of some of the delay, but now they're not going to have it for second, where it can come in really handy. And the thing about Route 66 is you don't exactly have a whole lot of time to get through this map, so not having it for a fight, having to win maybe 1 to 2 extra fights as a result, might not be ideal. That said, Agilities might have a Nano Blade up here in just a moment. Has this Strike Blade. I've been very close to getting Nano Boost up, so the offense does have the ability to keep momentum going forward here.
There is a Graviton Surge potentially to deal with this, but Agility just patiently waiting out Asen for now. The poke damage continues. Bit by bit, that ult creeps up. Cart moving forward. Now committing for the time being. The Graviton Surge still hanging back with the Dragon Blade. May just reset. We'll have to see if he wants to go in, as they have lost Nomi off the bat. No, he's going to drop the blade. Charges forward, sees an opening, gets one. Looking now for McCree, taking him out on his home turf, and back for the Zenyatta. Death to the Omnix is the call.
That was calculated coming in for Immortals. You don't always want to burn ultimates when you're down one, but Agilities saw the situation, thought he could go in and get those kills, and did just that. And now it's going to be Immortals getting rewarded. Now the question is, how far up are they going to play this? The payload still has a long way to go, but if they go to this choke point, they can really stop the defense from reestablishing. Defense, they don't have that much to really work with either, so we'll just see what the offense has in store. And they are going to be pretty aggressive.
Looking for the drop down here as Wolf dials up a high noon. Is he going to find anything? Xretzi draws and fails. Xretzi, meanwhile, being slept and kept out of the fight for the time being. And while that's happening, it looks like Nomi's also going to drop, so up to Agilities to push this one through. He gets flashbang, he gets dealt with. Xretzi now pushing forward, though, with another headshot will take out Athan, and that will fully derail the push. Only a minute to go, ZP. Suddenly, time is a big issue.
And I think if there was a mistake that got made there by Immortals, that they probably left too many people back in the payload. I think if you're going to go to the front like that, you need to bring everyone in a lot sooner, or you just need to go back to one the payload. But they sort of did a mix, it didn't work out, and now they are down to their very final push here. Ethan, though, going to quickly build up that nano boost, so he's going to be throwing this on Agilities in all likelihood and letting it go where it may. Look at the defense, they're not going to have an Earthshadow to deal with it, so dealing with the Agilities here going to be very difficult. We'll see if they can no, they don't even have an honor, so they can't even go for a sleep. It's going to be difficult for them to deal with this.
Nano Blade now out. A couple of swipes should be able to take down this Zarya. He actually deflects, wasting some of those precious moments, and now the counter blade from Spirit. He's a bit more successful. Looking for McCree with the deflect. Won't actually kill him, but does delay him. Looking to bring down Wolf. He'll be successful, and now getting back onto the card. Spirit trying to hold the line here, and it looks like bringing down Chance on that Lucio. Has to continue to stay on the cart. Agility's now desperately trying to hang on for dear life, but they have been held at this second point. It is not looking promising. Xretzi in additionally onto the Ana. He will recall back, and they hold it there. Good defense.
And that was a phenomenal hold coming out there from Rise. I mean, the biggest thing I'll say there is that the way that fight broke down to begin with, they didn't necessarily have a whole lot that could deal with Agilities and the Nano Boost, but the way they ended up dealing with it is that Agilities didn't have the best target selection early on, wasn't able to get the initial early kill, couldn't get the dash reset, and everyone on the side of Rise there, they were able to split out and not really suffer that. Meanwhile, of course, we had Spirit going on his own Dragon Blade to the back line, got a lot more done, and as a result, Immortals now very much against the wall. Their only real hope of taking this is finding a way of holding on first, which we've seen quite a bit, but it's also not the easiest thing to do.
Some interesting snacks available here at the Route 66 Diner. Roadkill burgers. Yummy.
Roadkill burgers. I always love the little bit of extra polish that Blizzard has here in these maps where...
And they've also been adding it. I feel like it was a lot more empty in the diner when this map first came out. So that's... Ichimwald also has started to see some additions to the spawn.
Well, they also use it to sort of tease new heroes, where you had the entire thing on Dorado, where suddenly everything's getting hacked by Sombra. That wasn't there in the very beginning. So you always have to be careful. Anytime there's a new patch, just carefully look at all the maps and see if any crumbs have been added for new heroes. I mean, for me, I think about favorites that people have found names and whatnot. You know, Doomfist, Soundquake, when? Question mark?
Alright, look at this CP. They are going to be... Oh, okay, they swap off the Winston now. I thought they were going to be running a Winston Diva. Curious to see if Midnight's just going to go over to the Zarya like we normally see. No, Desro, a little bit of debate, but he is back to the Winston. So Winston, Diva, Genji with the Discord Orb. They are just looking to quickly punish and bring down these backliners. Will they be successful?
I mean, I like this approach from Rise. I always thought that the double dive comps with Diva and Winston were pretty effective. They sort of fell out of favor. People wanted to go much more with Rise, much more consistent gameplay, but for getting people off the top here at Big Earls, and you can dive in here, and it's not just the Winston Diva, the Genji's going to be able to go in as well, so for Rise, I kind of like this approach that they're coming out with.
Expect the Winston Diva to lead the way, Genji to look for the follow-up, and McCree just to be laying down shots from the cart. Got to be careful they don't leave their own backliners too undefended when they look to make the move in. Slowly moving towards Big Earls. Are we going to see the jump forward? Desro has engaged. He gets off some good cleave, dropping back down. Stalling nicely, but now has to deal with the Reaper. Gets back up, trying to outmaneuver him around the map so far. D.Va doing her best to slow things down. So far unable to find the kills, though. Spirit getting closer and closer to that blade. He switch strikes back in. He is finding openings, but no! Wolf is going to deal with him, and that may just shut down this push right at a very close marking. Now it's a Deadeye looking for lock. No! Midnight able to shut him down in turn. Zarya, hyped, getting close. He almost has the ult.
And that was big by Midnight, because without a Reinhardt, there's not a whole lot to protect the rest of your team from a McCree, but Immortals striking right back. Hyped going to burn down 3 for the triple. Do we have 4? Spirit tasting the laser. Not a fun taste.
They have been microwaved to the point that there's not a whole lot left. Completely desiccated corpses at this point, but they will come back with a fresh lease on life and have to go again, and we have just seen this a lot on this first point where teams get close and then they lose the fight, have to go all the way back to the cart in a not ideal position. And that means walking past Big Earl, trying to sneak up on the high ground. Desro gonna try to draw them down.
This is, it's like sneaky Winston. He's hunting rabbits, but no!
Speaking of not so sneaky, it's Genji with the big sword, slicing in, and is going to be successful here. Spirit now with the deflect, well timed, moving on to agilities, has almost completely shut down this defense, and now indeed, they push forward a much quicker time on the first point here for Team Rise Nation.
The funniest thing is that I think the Winston actually caught them a little off guard there, where they're just like, wait, what's going on? Like, Winston just being super quiet, trying not to make any noise, like, our payload is moving. Everyone goes to look at the Winston. Suddenly Spirit comes in. It's like, by the way, I have a drink.
He's a pretty big fella to not notice, but apparently it does catch him off guard.
He is dignified, Winston. He's a gentleman.
He was in Scientist form as well, not in whole Smash mode.
Has like the monocle and everything.
I'm hoping for a big debuff, but there is no setup, so it might not be the easiest thing. Winston going to go to work, bashing that Reinhardt off of the high ground, trying to take them out of position. Remember, they only have to get about 3/4 of the way to this point to take it. Spirit gets closer and closer to his blade, but they've lost their Winston. The trade is 2. Swift Strike is available, waiting to build up that ultimate. He's going to dodge away from the Reinhardt stun, and in doing so, he may have just completely opened up this point. Spirit unleashing pain, but agility's there, spinning, and will Sonic the Hedgehog style bring down a few. Dies in turn, though. Midnight standing strong at the point. This one might just go all the way here.
And here's the key thing is that they are able to just be very aggressive with this double dive comp. Genji, of course, right there with them, and now it's going to be Immortals back against the wall. They can't really go as 6 now. They just need to get on the payload, stop it from going, because that yellow square is the square of victory for Rise Nation. Sunbear up here for the defense. They get no kills off it, and this could be going from bad to worse. It's X-Red Sea right now, and a vicious duel of Wolf going to go down. Highly close between both.
There's the D.Va self-destruct. They continue to contest this part viciously. Wolf getting very close to his ultimate. Could be the difference maker. Look for the pulse bomb. He drops it. He does manage to take down Faz. That removes some key sustain for the push, but has to stay on the cart. Denying the Zenyatta. Now you see me. Now you don't. Very sneaky stuff here from Wolf as he continues to stay alive, but you can't run from the Blade of Spirit. Again, hacking away. And once more, it is the Genji that does them in. We're going again. I love it. To a map number 3.
I'm just happy to see a return of a Reinhardt-less composition there. I've always kind of thought that those compositions were still pretty good, sort of disappeared off the face of the earth, but really cool stuff coming out there from the side of Rise. And Rise going to stay alive, force us to a round 3. For those who are just tuning in, this is the lower bracket of the Route 66 BTS Cup. Winner of this match will secure themselves 3rd place. They'll secure themselves a chunk of the prize money. They'll get their date with Cloud9.
Yeah, Hype did a lot of work here, but you know, the other cool thing I think worth mentioning, ZT, about this type of composition, they get back to the cart very quickly. Almost all those characters extremely mobile between the Lucio speed boost, the D.Va ability to just blast herself forward, Winston pounce, so it doesn't cost them as much when they lose a fight in terms of time.
No, it doesn't. Also makes engagements a little bit rougher for the defense, too, because there's not a natural death ball to go after. Reinhardt, by virtue of his very design, you're holding up a shield. People are going to go hide behind it. When you're running Winston D.Va, it sort of encourages everyone to sort of take their own path, wait for the Winston D.Va to make the distraction, and then sort of dive in afterwards. But in the setup, it can confuse the defense and keep them a little bit off guard. So I was a fan of it there. Definitely works out. And King's Row going to be where this is all settled.
So you think they're taking, well, I was going to say taking attacker here. But no, they go for defense first. What do they have planned? Anything sneaky?
Rise Nation, anything sneaky for the defense? Not really sure. I think, again, they're going to be pretty straightforward on it. They're not even a team that really likes running Mail that much from what we've seen over the last few days, so we'll have to see.
Team's going to clarify who gets that pick. When you come into the Game 3 decider, suddenly, side it feels a little more important.
It's one of those things where obviously teams have different preferences. Some prefer attack, some prefer defense. But in this case, Nathan's just like, wait a second, don't we get the choice? It would actually be great if he said, yes, he had the choice. Then he goes, we want defense. Just so you guys know, it was our choice. or saying, sorry, they want attack. So it's just like, you guys still go to good defense, but we're letting
I'll take attack anyway. It's fine.
Exactly.
We just wanted to make sure you know that we're that confident coming into this final map. So I do like that a lot about Overwatch. I come from a Dota background, and in that game, oftentimes there's just a clear trend where all teams will prefer one side or the other, but it's really not the case as much in Overwatch. Seems like it really depends if you have a special composition prepared. For Eichenwald, maybe you want that Symmetric Torbjorn full hold. Perhaps you want to play on attack on a slightly more attack favored hybrid map. So it's definitely very diverse for the teams.
Well, even on the teams themselves, the teams can switch up preferences. I remember there was a point where C9 was picking defense a lot, and then this tournament they've been picking offense more often. It's sort of, teams really go back and forth. And there's theories and arguments you can make from one side or the other, but in the end, it's probably not the biggest deal, but teams at least still like having the preference.
There's definitely, it's all psychology in the end. You get an equal shot at both sides. It's more how much does a good or bad performance on your first half really get into your head. Can either relieve that pressure or add to it. And here we go, ZP, into the final map before we move on to Cloud9. And then whoever wins that, facing off against FaZe. So we come down to the wire. Remember, guys, this is a money match. Winner of this, guaranteed $500, playing for $1,500. And then whoever goes on to win that grand finals will take home $3,000, as well as a lot of pride.
All right, so taking a look here at the defense as they set up here, and again, it's not going to be anything too crazy. I guess one thing that, of course, is notable about Rise is that they're not as in love with Ana as a lot of other teams are. They will run the Zen, even when not running a Genji to go with it. You do see some teams run Zen Genji, like, for example, FaZe will put Forsaken on it when you have Shadowburn on the Genji. Sometimes, not all the time. But for Rise, they just genuinely appreciate what Zenyatta brings, and they're not all that afraid about missing out on having a nano boost.
Yeah, it does go really well with the ex-Red Sea McCree, and when they win maps, it often feels like he is the one taking over on some key holds. But of course, Spirit could still have a big impact here. He's got a Zarya to set him up anyway, so it's definitely not like a terrible Reaper game by any means. Up against the Roadhog as well, 3 tanks.
Gildies has been the man that's been the rock for Immortals, especially as Grim Reality has been out sick. Grim Reality's hopefully gets better
facing
soon.
The grim reality of the BlizzCon plague for him.
It is absolutely the BlizzCon plague, man. I know it just knocked me on my butt last year. Pretty lucky that I'm in good health this year.
Oh, you get to see agilities. He's really itching for a good hook. Doesn't find the opening just yet. He's going to wrap around to the other side. Meanwhile, Nomi getting pretty low on the Reinhardt. He will end up going down, gets punished for that. And then in turn, we're going to see Spirit just holding the side hallway, not letting them go for the flank and pincer movement. So they are going to wait for Nomi to respawn, get back out to the point.
And for the offense here, you get so many attempts here on King's Row. It's very hard for the defense to full hold. The defense needs to just play the ult economy game almost perfectly, really space things out. And XRT is going to have that early Deadeye, but usually wants to combo with it or have a really good flank. Right now he's in the thick of things. Could use the zone out.
Tough to pull it off with an Ana as well, with the sleep dart to worry about. We're going to move in now with Nomi, quickly engaging, and he charges forward, but he will get locked down for the time, charging back the other way. Slaughters XRT, no Deadeye for you, sir. Then drops the hammer with the Graviton. Huge damage done. 3 dealt with, make it 4, and, well, so much for that.
And that's kind of the problem. There's that Transcendence you would think you would counter huge plays like that, but even though it saves you for a little while, you still can't do anything about the charge that comes in, and there's certainly nothing there to interrupt or stop Nomi from laying down the hammer, and that's a case where you look at it, Sleep Dart might have been able to make the difference there, but either way, it was a beautiful push-in coming in from the side of Immortals, and now we see just how much momentum they have going in the Streets phase. Defense, though, a lot of tools to at least stabilize here when they get back.
Can't rely quite as much on Spirit with the Death Blossom alone. There's a hook to interrupt it. You have to worry about a potential Reinhardt charge, and along with that, he doesn't have an Ana boost available because they are running the Zenyatta, but they're going to move in quickly. Goes for the flashbang. Reinhardt stunned with the shield, pops back up, and they are going to be able to drop the beat here. As the fight breaks out, Agility sneaking around from behind, looking for a pick-off opportunity. The cart continues to roll forward. They did lose Spirit and X-Redzy, both DPS, without even getting off a single ult.
And that's really, really rough. They lost X-Redzy very early in that fight, and despite having the ult advantage, just not able to take advantage of it. They didn't want to throw things in down their McCree. And Immortals now with an absolutely golden opportunity to keep this moving forward. The defense still has a lot of power moving in, and still should be able to push us back, but look at where the payload's going to be when it's all said and done. Spirit right now coming in the flank. Here's the ground time to set him up.
All right, helicoptering in from above. Die. Shield in the corner for Nomi, but not enough. He gets behind that shield. He'll bring down 2. He now can back away, grabbing some orbs and healing back up along the way. And charging forward onto the Zarya. Hyped and Agility's battling back, though. Not entirely out of the fight just yet, though. They will now lose Agilities. That may just end the push here.
And I don't really like what Immortals did there. Immortals used a lot of ultimates in that fight that they had. They were still at disadvantage no matter what, but they threw more into that than they should have, especially after the early ground time. I think if they just held on, wiped quicker, they'd actually be back to this point not only faster, but with a bigger advantage. They're still going to have the Graviton versus no Graviton, but now it's a lot more dicey. Still, though, it's a good time being set by Immortals. If they can keep this up and just play standard, I think they have a good shot of taking second, either on this push or the next.
Yeah, really nothing to combo at all with that Graviton. I mean, Earth Shatter, sure, but you don't have the Nano Boost, you don't have Death Blossom, even no Whole Hog available.
Here right now, just creeping to the back line, looking to set things up right now. He's on a journey. Might be catching Agilities off guard, but here's the ground cycle coming in, but countered by the Earth Shatter right away.
Takes that pig out of the picture. X-Redzy looking for the Deadeye, quickly bringing down Hype. Caught him a bit off guard, and now moving on to Wolf. Flashbang forward, and with the orb, they'll get the kill. Again and again, just holding this offense at bay.
And I think the problem there is that Hyped went for the Graviton. I think only got one person in it, if that. It wasn't particularly great. Rise was all spread out, and it ended up working out for them. I don't think it was intentional, let's spread out to avoid the Graviton, but in practice, that's what it was. And Immortals finding a lot of momentum, sort of slipping away here. This is going to be a relatively ultless fight coming up.
All right, 2 Genjis now. We're going to see some swap-ups as we come down the stretch. The Reapers have left the building, at least on the side of Rise Nation. Now running to McCree as well as the Genji and looking for the Swift Strike forward after the deflect. Good setup and great follow-up. Easily dealing with this push and forcing Aethan back again. Spirit eventually likely to bring this Ana down. Has the deflect ready. Regardless, Ana has to go all the way back to the base.
Oh, that's so rough. Arguably, I think should have just ate to death there. I mean, you can make arguments either way, but that's going to stagger him for so much longer. Spirit getting rewarded for being tenacious there. Now, for Immortals, I mean, they've just been stalled out here for a really long time. It's been a gem of a defense coming out here from Rise. They're going to have the Dragon Blade in the next fight and the Sound Barrier. It's going to be that versus the Nano Boost Death Blossom, but the way Immortals has been just sort of coming up the gut, I kind of feel like the defense has the tools they need to deal with, especially with X-Redzy in the back of the Deadeye.
Let's see if we're going to get a good Nano Boost. They almost have the Beyblade available. Wolf still hanging on to his ultimate for the time being. X-Redzy going down pretty early. Agility's meanwhile not using his sword quite as quickly. Spirit will go down. It could be Agility's turn to take over. Moving onto Lock, slashing through him, carving him up like Chop Suey. Will bring him down. Can he get more? He is low and dealt with by the Reinhardt Hammer.
So 2 things there for the fight in the offense. One is that X-Redzy, take a look at things there. Even though he died early for the defense, the offense was very discombobulated in how they went in there. Agilities had to bring out the sword really late in the fight, went directly into the Sound Barrier. Just wasn't good timing at all from Immortals. And again, I don't know if that's because they're missing Grim Reality or what, but they're going to be down here to their final attempt. Defense with block tools deal with this. It's going to be Graviton versus Graviton. Will Rise Nation hold Immortals strong here right before second? We are about to find out.
X-Redzy also with the Deadeye available. He could combo nicely with this. He's looking for it. He's got a lot of them in his sights, but the payload, maybe the Savior just pokes around. Already 3 are dead. It's not looking great. Do they have any chance of turning this back the other way? ZP, Wolf, dealt with. They're all dead. Forced back, and they just start bunny hopping straight down the alleys. They know they've stopped the offense.
And something really to note here about the defense for Rise is that Rise's defense was very much spread out. There was never really a point towards the end where they were in a big group or death ball. Meanwhile, you take a look at the offense. The offense is coming in groups of 4 and 5 repeatedly, and it gave the defense way more value off their Graviton surges over and over again. And Immortals, after what was a very good opening, just sputtering out, not able to find the right combination to get through there, and fortunately for them, they are now very much on the hot seat, and now it's a golden opportunity for Rise to take them out of this tournament.
Yeah, maybe the stand-in factor will come back to haunt them. It certainly did earlier in this event for other teams. Not to say that Wolf has been a huge liability by any means, but as we've talked about, communication can always vary. So they're going to continue to run Lock for now on the Zen. It's been just such a go-to staple here for them, and for the most part has worked out pretty well.
I do like the Zen combo with Genji. I feel like it's something that probably gets underused a little bit when teams are running Genji. Part of it is just because of the crazy effectiveness of Ana and the enormous utility of Lucio, but the thing about it is that for Genji, you might have less of an impact when ultimates are up, when you have the Zen there instead of the Ana. But it definitely feels like it's still a better combination for letting the Genji be much more aggressive, build up Dragon Blades quicker, and all the rest, just because that Harmony Orb is going to be on the Genji for most of the time.
It also helps you get your dash reset sooner with the Discord Orb, and every time you get it, you can just move on to the next target if you're well coordinated.
The flip side to this, though, it does mean that Desra and Midnight have to play a little bit more conservatively because they're not going to have the Ana healing per second to actually let them go in and take a whole lot of damage. So it is a little bit more of a different playstyle. It's one that focuses more on the Genji doing big plays, but you have a Genji that's as good as Spirit, you can definitely get away with it.
All right, Agility's hiding out as the Mei under the statue. Is he going to find a good opening for that wall? We'll have to wait and see.
They're adhering to the meta right now.
Well played, well played.
So, though, this is the good thing about Immortals. They do have the flexibility to play a little bit more stuff that is more conventional on King's Row. Mei certainly a huge problem to get through on first, but for now, Rise is dealing with it pretty well.
Yeah, Spirit getting aggressive here. He's going to find that opener onto Nomi. He gets slept, though, and that's going to turn things around with him falling. No DPS remaining. They will have to back hard.
And now for the defense. Remember, given how far their offense brought things just a round ago, Immortals really has to hold out here for the first point hold, which easier said than done and all the rest. So Gildy's going to have to continue doing serious work here as Mei. Wall comes down without fall through, and that's kind of a mistake because now the offense is going to be able to get through here. They don't have to worry about Mei, and this is a huge opportunity to charge right through.
Yeah, at the same time, though, Reinhardt could be the difference maker. Nomi getting pretty low. They're going to lose the Reinhardt before he Earth Shatters. The blade comes out, moving directly onto the Ana, and Spirit gets to work, trying to bring down next to Zarya, swinging just barely out of range, but finally gets her anyway. And that is going to allow them to grab this point, and they did it right before the Blizzard was ready. Nomi unable to get up the Earth Shatter. Had he gotten it off, maybe all those ults that you see being so close to the top of your screen would have been ready for that fight.
So this is something Mei's have been consistently misplaying, especially over the past week. It's not worth walling off a team if your team isn't there to immediately fall through, because what you saw Rise Nation do there is what you want to do. The wall was used, there was no fall through, the wall goes down. Now you're dealing with a Mei that no longer has wall. You can just immediately rush in because she's not going to have the ability to split you for quite a while. So kind of unfortunate there for Gildies. Here comes defense or offense here with the Ramsar.
Blizzard getting dropped, turning into an Ice Cube to try and derail this thing. He is going to stall for quite a while. Desro going to work with the hammer, though, and still 5 fall. They will stop for now. Have to reset. They'll probably get one more chance to fight the ZP. But they're going to have to move quickly.
They're going to move very, very quickly here, but defense just in a little bit of rough shape. I mean, even if they get back there, they're not going to have as much as they want to deal with. I mean, they will be able to maybe rush Wolf in here, but the offense is going to have such good position to start things off here. Even they're going to have a Sound Bearer late in the fight. They have the Earth Shatter. The Immortals has to be very careful about how they handle this, but they need to go in now.
Desro gets the bubble, the cart's almost there, and both sides with the sound barrier coming out, trying to hang on as long as possible. Really good Earth Shatter, charging them away from the payload. They just need a couple of seconds of movement at the same time, though. Spirit stands atop it. They don't get on it.
No.
And he just pushes it in by himself.
What?
A celebration salute. Third time this event, the payload goes uncontested.
They were winning that fight, and you know what? So when it first happened, I was confused going way back earlier in the week. Then I got angry. Now I'm just sad and disappointed. I don't understand why this keeps happening. Like, please, people, get on your payloads. They're there. They're the objective. You win the fight. You still gotta touch it.
Please, just once. I like how he even had time to emote there while 5 are alive. That's really some salt in the wound and a tough way to go, ZP.
I'm just disappointed now. I mean, it's been happening too much this tournament. Happening too much in the tournament earlier in the week. Guys, enough is enough. Win the fight, but also get on the payload.
Well, a victorious salute for Mr. Spirit, and we are going to see Rise Nation continue to rise. So they have a chance here against Cloud9, though. That is a tough opponent.
It's going to be very tough going in C9, but again, I mean, Rise Nation has a lot of parts to their roster that simply work. They play also a little bit more conventional in terms of their team rosters, so excited to see what happens. I think it's a definite edge to C9. C9 is going to be looking for that revenge series versus FaZe. Of course, they fell to FaZe earlier in the day, but to do that, they're going to have to get through Rise first.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long day for Rise Nation. They've already had to play 2 series and watch 1. Now this is going to be the 4th match of the day, our second to last, and should they somehow deal with Cloud9, as we quickly check out the brackets here, they then have to face FaZe and win 2 BO3 ZP. That is an exhausting gauntlet to run through.
It's a gauntlet, but man, I hope it happens. I love bracket resets in esports, so C9, find your energy, bring this back. At least do the bracket reset. At that point, anyone can win, but I at least want to root for C9 up until the bracket reset, just because it's more Overwatch for us, it's more Overwatch for you guys.
Do it. Don't let us down, Rise Nation. All right, well, or C9, whoever gets there. But with that being said, guys, we'll be back in just a little bit. You're watching the Overwatch Route 66 Cup. I'm LD. He's ZP. See you in a few minutes.